Lewis Hamilton's return to Silverstone as a Ferrari driver was supposed to be a grand moment. The crowd of over 150,000 was cheering, the atmosphere was electric, and the hopes were high. But what was meant to be a glorious homecoming turned into something very different. As rain began to fall over the circuit, Hamilton found himself struggling. His Ferrari SF25, which looked promising during practice sessions, became unpredictable and difficult to drive when the weather changed. It was a race that tested not only Hamilton's driving skill, but also his patience and belief in Ferrari's technical direction. After the race, Hamilton didn't hold back. He said the SF25 was the most difficult car he's ever driven in those conditions. That's a strong statement coming from a 7-time world champion. He wasn't being dramatic, he was being honest. The car was unstable, it slipped through corners, reacted unpredictably under throttle, and made it nearly impossible for him to push confidently, especially on the wet surface. Despite finishing in 4th place, Hamilton left Silverstone with a very clear message. Ferrari needs to make major changes, not just for this season, but for next year as well. What's interesting is how Hamilton explained the problems. He didn't just say the car was bad. He broke down exactly what went wrong. The biggest issue he highlighted was the car's instability, especially at low speeds in wet conditions. In the dry, the SF25 had shown some good pace, but as soon as the rain came down, everything fell apart. Hamilton's feedback went deep into the mechanical and aerodynamic weaknesses of the car. He pointed out that the SF25's balance shifted too much from front to rear, especially in slower corners. This made the car twitchy and forced him to hold back instead of attacking corners the way he normally would at key corners like Village and Vale. Hamilton struggled to put down power without the car sliding or trying to spin. That kind of behavior makes a car undrivable in wet conditions. Ferrari's engineers are now looking closely at how the rear suspension works and how the aerodynamic parts like the floor and diffuser behave when the ride height changes. These changes in balance were especially dangerous because they happened suddenly. One moment the car felt stable, the next it would snap. That unpredictability is what hurt Hamilton the most. Hamilton also explained that this issue wasn't just about the car's setup for Silverstone. It's a deeper design problem. The car's floor and diffuser are very sensitive to how high or low the car rides over bumps or curbs. In wet conditions, where the track is uneven and grip is low, this becomes a major weakness. So when Hamilton says he wants a car that turns better at low speeds, he's talking about much more than just a driving preference. He's giving Ferrari a blueprint of what they need to fix. Ferrari can make some small adjustments during this season, like tweaking the suspension or improving the airflow underneath the car. But most of what Hamilton wants will have to be built into next year's car from the ground up. That's why this moment is so important. It's not just about Silverstone or even 2025. It's about changing how Ferrari builds its cars for the future. Hamilton is trying to guide the team to design a car that can work well in any condition, wet or dry, slow or fast corners, not just on ideal weekends. This is where things get really fascinating. Hamilton's decision to join Ferrari was seen by many as an emotional one. People thought he wanted to wear red and follow in the footsteps of legends like Michael Schumacher. But what we're seeing now is that Hamilton didn't just come to Ferrari for the history or the legacy. He came to build something. He's not just giving feedback in meetings, he's helping design the future of the team after Silverstone. He said he's already talking to the people working on next year's car. That shows how deeply involved he is. Hamilton's presence is changing Ferrari from the inside. He's no longer just the new guy that's starting to listen to him as a leader. With all his championships and experience, Hamilton knows exactly what a championship-winning car needs. And now, he's making sure Ferrari hears that message loud and clear. But at the same time, he knows the pressure is on. Ferrari fans are passionate. They expect results. And some of them are already comparing him to the greats who drove for the team before. That's a heavy weight to carry, especially after a race like Silverstone. Some voices in the Italian media criticized him for being too honest. Others praised him for speaking the truth. But inside the team, this is exactly what Ferrari needs. A driver who's not afraid to point out problems and who knows how to fix them. Hamilton has been in this position before when he joined Mercedes. In 2013, they weren't winning every weekend. But with his help, they became the most dominant team in the sport's history. Now, He's trying to do the same with Ferrari. Ferrari's biggest problem right now is inconsistency in dry weather. They can sometimes compete with the top teams, but in wet or mixed conditions, they fall apart. This is a huge issue in a season where weather changes have affected many races already. If Ferrari can't improve quickly, Hamilton's chances at the championship will slip away. He's currently 57 points behind the leader. That's not impossible to recover from, but it will take more than just small steps. Ferrari needs big improvements, and they need them fast. Hamilton knows this. That's why he's pushing so hard. He's not just driving the car, he's trying to transform the entire team's thinking. His message to the engineers is clear. The car needs to be predictable. It can't surprise him mid-corner. It needs to be stable under braking, balanced in the middle of corners, and confident when exiting onto straights. That kind of behavior doesn't just help in wet races, it helps everywhere. And it's exactly what Hamilton had at Mercedes when they were winning titles. As the team prepares for races at tracks like Spa and Suzuka, where weather can change quickly, Ferrari must decide how much they can realistically fix this season. They're looking at upgrades for rear suspension parts, changes to how the diffuser handles air, and new ways to reduce how sensitive the car is to ride height. These are technical challenges, but they matter because every single point counts in the championship fight. Hamilton's involvement in the 2026 car design is already starting. He's working with the team in Maranello to make sure next year's machine doesn't suffer from the same problems. This kind of collaboration between driver and engineer is rare, especially so early in a driver's time with a new team. But Hamilton isn't waiting. He knows that to win titles again, he needs a car that works everywhere, not just on the good days. Ferrari has always been a team with incredible history and pride, but sometimes that pride makes them slow to change. Hamilton is trying to bring in a new way of thinking, a more flexible, driver-focused approach that puts performance in all conditions above all else. If Ferrari listens, they could become a championship team again. If they don't, they risk repeating the same mistakes that have cost them so many seasons in the past. The comparison to Schumacher's era is unavoidable. Back then, Michael didn't just drive fast, he worked closely with the engineers, shaped the team's direction, and helped build a winning culture. Hamilton is now trying to do the same. His experience, his knowledge, and his ability to communicate clearly what the car needs make him one of the most valuable assets Ferrari has. But they have to let him lead. They have to trust his vision. In the short term, Hamilton's focus is on minimizing losses in the wet races and making the most of dry weekends. Every point is important. The updates coming to Spa and Monza may help a bit, but the real solution lies in long-term changes. What makes this part of the story so exciting is that we are watching a potential turning point, not just in Hamilton's career, but in Ferrari's future. If Ferrari truly embraces Hamilton's leadership, this could become one of the most powerful driver-team partnerships in modern Formula One. It's not just about designing a car, it's about changing how a team thinks, how it reacts to challenges, and how it listens to the people behind the wheel. Hamilton isn't just chasing another title. He's trying to leave a legacy, a new Ferrari that can fight at the front in any condition, on any track, and this matters for the sport as a whole. Formula One is at its best when great drivers and legendary teams push each other to become something more. When Hamilton walked away from Mercedes, it shocked the world. But now we're starting to see why he made that choice, not for comfort, not for easy wins, but for the chance to build something from the ground up, something lasting. This journey won't be easy. There will be more races like Silverstone, where things don't go right. There will be more media noise, more pressure, more questions. But Hamilton has shown time and again that he thrives in that kind of environment. He's been counted out before, and every time he comes back stronger. Now, he's putting that strength into shaping Ferrari's future. It's too early to say whether he'll win a title in red,